Welcome here to the Gamma Project. My name is Justin McGuire. I'm here with Alex van Beem, all the way from Amsterdam. Welcome, Alex.
Uh, Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for coming on board today to share a few of the questions that you have regarding tolerance as well as a commitment to the Gamma Project.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
I think, any time anybody embarks on involvement in a new life goal or a new life commitment toward greater health, it can seem to be quite an obstacle to overcome given the modern day requirements of life. There's a lot of stress from every angle of having to perform at work, and given the fact that you have a company, even more of a stress to trying to maintain a relationship at home with your family, and also just retaining a good, healthy relationship with yourself for that regard as well. So I think it's today we're going to discuss on how we can manage and maintain the discipline or the commitment toward better health and a happier life around training and around food.
Yeah, so I tried a lot of things when we started this, and still I'm trying all kind of ways to make this work, and I think it's working. But sometimes I think I can do better, and if I look at the other people in the program or my trainer, I think you all are a bit further than that I am. But I'm training 3 times with my trainer in the morning, during the week. I t- I try to do the 2 times um, besides my training with my trainer, and that is working better. I try to cycle a lot, also on my new bike here, doing some serious cycling. So I think that helps. Um, what I'm struggling with is when I have like 10 appointments a day, and I have someone making me the meals for during lunch. But sometimes when I'm with clients, I feel a bit, how do I manage to have enough meals a day or something? So it is for me, a lot is back to back, um, and then I'm struggling. So I wonder what your experience is, because you manage a lot of people like me, I think.
Yes, I think the expectation of what a meal constitutes comes down to your perception of how you should construct your diet during the day. So understand something that the
You
ideal.
still there?
I am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're back. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, sorry about that. The Wi-Fi was a little bit shoddy. I think that when it comes down to the perception of what a meal constitutes, is where you need to shift your perspective, or where people that have a high demanding job in a corporate sector like yourself need to consider just shifting the perspective of what food is and how to manage a more optimal stress profile through blood sugar management. So an ideal meal would have a great, a good sized portion of high quality protein, and if you want in a state of hyperinflammation, an animal source of protein with good vegetables, good source of carbohydrate, and a good source of fat. But like yourself and many others out there, when you're bombarded with meetings back to back all day long and having to meet deadlines for projects of clients that have employed your agency for marketing needs, sometimes you just don't have the time to sit down for 10 to 15 minutes ago and have a meal. But that's not to say that you can't nourish the body.
No, no, true. And I think I'm making steps. But Gijs showed me someone who you helped for, like, I think 4 or 6 weeks,
Yep.
and there was a big difference between his, I think, holding on to water or something. So I thought that was really impressive, and Yeah, I wonder if I yeah need to rearrange how I do the program. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think
And I'm also struggling a bit with. I eat a lot of fish, but I want to be a vegetarian. So I wonder if you have more people struggling with that.
no, to be fair, I have 40% of my clients that are on the Gamma project at the moment are vegan. Uh,
Okay.
so there's not a there's being a vegan or a vegetarian is not a hindrance toward your progress on the project whatsoever.
Okay.
Um, there are different
So
diets.
how do you get your enough proteins then?
Almost definitely, you can get an abundance of proteins from vegan sources. Must remember, I think the idea that was put in the fitness community about vegan diets or vegetarian-based diets is the fact that they didn't get enough complete protein, right? And complete protein meaning complete chain of essential amino acids. Now, that would be true if a vegetarian were just to eat broccoli all day long, or were just to eat lentils all day long. But
Yeah.
very rarely do you have a vegetarian diet that hasn't got an abundance of seeds, pulses, lentils, and grains. And when you combine these together, you do formulate complete protein structures. So you can get
Yeah.
complete protein. And the nice thing about one of the benefits to a vegan-based diet is the fact that it's far less demanding on the kidneys and the liver
Yeah.
because of the lower concentration of methionine, as well as the lower concentration of phosphate in the sources of these of vegan or vegetarian-based proteins. So that the picture which you're referring to, the client you're referring to, he went through. He was more of an advanced client before he started with me. Whereas when we initiated your Gamma project, it was a quest to getting into good habits, getting into regular habits of hydration, reduce the amount of caffeine intake, getting your blood sugar more stable, as well as getting you more regular with your training as well. And I think we've achieved all those things now. So your blood
Mm.
sugar is far more stable. If you recall in the beginning, you were hitting in the sixes for your blood sugar levels. I think even at one point you hit a seven, if I'm not mistaken. And now you very
Yep.
rarely go over 5.5 for your blood sugar, which means
True.
your autonomic nervous system's response to how it's handling the intake of your food or how it's handling the requirement for your energy production is more stable. So the balance between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic state is nice and neutral now in comparison to before. But we can better on this. We can better on this. And now that you've gotten to the point where you've evolved your daily habits and the way in which you perceive of what you're capable of doing. So if you think about this, Alex, when you started, right now in comparison, how many meals a day are you able to get in a day on average?
4 meals.
And when you started, how many meals were you able to get in on average? If I recall correctly, it was two.
Yes.
So just on that course alone, it's only been 3 months. And it's for in
Mm-hmm.
a period of time to drop your fasting glucose down by 1 millimole in the morning, which is a huge drop in the reading. If you think about it from a 6 to a 5, it's say a 17 or 18% of a drop of the effect of elevated glucose on your bodily systems, which is huge. It's
Yeah.
it's it's your cardiovascular health to be more protected, and so is your endocrine system's functionality going to be improved from that. Have you noticed improved energy over the last 3 months?
Sorry?
Have you noticed improved energy over the last 3 months?
Yes. My energy is a lot better, and I'm less on edge during work. So people think that I'm did a lot of coaching sessions, but they don't know that I did went through this process.
And that's the thing is every day is different. And there's a reason why the readings are so important for me to see in the morning so that I can make the necessary adjustments to help you in the best way. Just from changing the amount of calories that you should be having in the day to the ratio of macronutrients that you should have in a meal. And like a meal doesn't have to be, you don't have to be calorie specific. I think that initially we try to be more calorie specific, but given your field of work, it's just virtually sometimes a bit more impossible to get to that target specificity, even though you would like to.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. However, sources of food we'll be able to hit on target. So when a meal has higher construct of fats and lower construct of carbohydrates, you've known what choices to make in order to formulate the structure of that particular meal. Whereas,
Yeah.
and then based on that, we were able to get to the point where we're modulating your stress more effectively. And we're giving you a higher abundance of essential fatty acids to help hormonal sensitivity and detoxification processes, not to mention the efficiency and health of your bile production from the liver and the pancreas, the liver and the gallbladder, and what effect that will have on the pancreas too, which is also a reason why, I don't know if you've noticed, but you're a lot less inflamed in the markers around your cheeks and around your chin. If you look at the picture you started, you had a lot more inflammation in the face, whereas now your jawline's coming through, you have far less bags in your eyes, you look actually quite clear in the eye. When I first met you, it was quite dark. So all these things have been taking place. In terms of complete compliance, nobody's perfect. Neither I'm not perfect. There are days where I only get 4 meals in a day instead of getting my allotted 6. But if I can't get into a meal, I have provisions. And the provisions are having a greens powder on hand, having a good source of fat on hand, like nuts or seeds, and then also having a good source of amino acid on hand that will help you to prevent muscle breakdown and optimize more stress control, like branched chain amino acids or acetyl L-carnitine. And just having these items at your desk, just like a powder, a bottle of powdered greens. If you don't have to eat nuts, you can also add things like olive oil to the greens drink, because once you blend it, you don't taste the olive oil, you taste the greens. And actually it's quite a nice flavor. Or you can put MCT oil or even coconut oil, particularly in periods where you're feeling a bit ill. Coconut oil is really effective because it contains an antimicrobial acid called lauric acid, which helps to fight off a viral infection. Whereas olive oil is great for the day after you may have gone out for a meeting with one of your colleagues or one of your employees, and you've had a glass of wine or maybe 2 glasses of wine, and the next day your joints are just aching a bit. Olive oil really helps with that too, because it aids the liver in its detoxification processes too. So keeping provisions for when things don't go right is very important. Having on hand a good greens powder that has an abundance of cruciferous vegetable extract, not just grass, superfood grass extract, is really high. Metagenics makes a fantastic called Phyto Greens. I really highly recommend that as well.
Okay, so can you email me again what I should have when a meal is not going to happen? Because sometimes I have meals ready in the fridge at my work, but it doesn't. I don't know when, so it's just piling up there. So yeah, it's so I think it's a good. I have some greens, but maybe to be complete, I need to know what I can use when I can't have a meal.
No problem. I'll be happy to send it over to you. My favorite go-to, I will write this down for you, but my favorite go-to when it comes to a replacement of nutrients, not a replacement of calories, because just remember, if you're going to drink a high-calorie meal replacement shake, it has a massive detrimental effect on insulin load. So the reason why whey protein is so effective for muscle recovery is because it shoots insulin up rather quickly. It's extremely insulinogenic in nature, right? Whereas opposed to a solid meal will slowly increase the production of insulin into the bloodstream for the release or disposal of carbohydrates or glucose in the bloodstream. So I'm not a fan of protein shakes as a meal replacement.
Yeah.
I prefer greens because firstly, the caloric load is low, but the nutrient load is high. So you're providing the body with enough nutrients to combat the effects of heightened stress, but at the same time, you're also providing enough of a glucose response to keep things stable in your bloodstream. So I combine glutamine and branched chain amino acids together, along with the greens, along with the fat. Now, the reason why I put the fat there is because it even slows down gastric emptying a little bit more so that you don't have such a rapid spike, even with a low calorie source like a greens powder. Right?
Yeah.
And fats can come from different sources. I mean, like you can even use nut butter if you really want something tasty. Like I said before, coconut oil or olive oil. So you can actually add anything into that greens because we're talking 5 milliliters. You're talking a teaspoon of fat. We're not talking a whole bottle of olive oil, which will taste rancid.
Mhm.
But just keeping it on hand, I'll happily send that to you so that you know that when the time comes, because I always think you should plan to succeed, but also plan to fail. When I say mean plan
Yeah.
to fail, is when things go wrong, plan what you're going to do in failure of the outcourse of that particular regime. So put a
Yeah.
timer on your phone or on your smart watch or whatever it is that you may use to keep yourself notified, because I'm sure you utilize certain schedule reminders during the course of the day for meetings.
Yeah.
Do the same thing for your diet, where you schedule in an appointment reminder for a meal. And then when that appointment comes up, if you can't get you sitting down and having that meal, then utilize the replacement of the greens, the amino acids.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I think also my office manager is going to help me more with that, because I had a talk with her and I said, sometimes I'm a bit stuck, and can you help me with that? So I think that's also with explaining my girlfriend that we don't need some things in the house, because when I'm hungry, then I will grab it. So I think it's good to have the people around me, and that's also what you said at the beginning, to understand what kind of things I'm trying to achieve. And what another question of me is, I work a lot and I have my family. So if I'm not working, I'm with my family. So what I sometimes miss is like the alone time where you can refill so that you can manage it all. So what do you do? How do you do that? So refilling, so also being on your own, or what, do you go for a walk, or you said sometimes just a walk with bare feet in the grass, or can you give me some pointers there?
I think the more I can give you such a complex strategy in centering and grounding yourself, but it may not be applicable. So some people will advocate, take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass. But for somebody, and I know how crazy this sounds because I was in that situation when I was living in London, when I was running a business. You're just trying in any fast-paced city. And you live in Amsterdam, and it's not an easy city either. When you're in the muck of it, when someone tells you to take your shoes off and go stand in the grass, you look at them as like Mars. All right, because it's not something really
Yeah.
simple that you're going to do in that moment, but you need a bit of breathing space. All right, so I like to utilize the senses as a way of distracting you from an overwhelming amount of stimulus. So earplugs, put earplugs in to drown out excessive noise. Use blue light blockers. I'm sure Gijs does know what I'm talking about because he is
Yeah.
obviously a neurologist. So blue light blockers. Try not to expose your bare eyes to artificial blue light for long periods of time. Smell. Have different oils at your desk and utilize the smell and different sensations of different oils to allow you to either heighten your awareness or calm your awareness. So chamomile, all right, or eucalyptus oil allows you to calm your excitation to the olfactory system, whereas peppermint oil actually excites it. So initially calm.
So do you use that a lot?
I do. I don't use necessarily the oils I was using for a moment in time. But what I find, everybody has something a little bit different. So somebody will have more of a dominant sense of sight, others have a dominant sense of smell, a dominant sense of hearing, whatever it might be. And they also have subdued senses. Now, my subdued senses are my sense of smell. So when I become stressed, the first thing that goes is my sense of smell. So what I do is I try to block out the heightening of my other senses. So I will actually I'll put in earplugs. I'll close my eyes and I will just smell oils. Or sometimes if I don't have oils on my desk, because I'm human, and sometimes I forget, just like you do, and everyone else as well. I'll take something as simple as a plate of food, and I'll try to identify the smell of the different components in the plate of food. You know what? It takes 5-10 minutes, but that time that you take just to disassociate yourself from an overwhelming amount of pressure that's coming from you from every angle allows you to recenter your self-awareness, which is a big reason why I get you guys to do the fasting glucose and the heart rate variability in the morning. Because although it can be sometimes a little or seem times tedious, it doesn't take that much effort. But if you're overwhelmed and stressed in the beginning, it felt like a chore, right?
Yeah.
And now, is it as overwhelming?
No, now it's I also want to know, and when a few weeks ago I had to fire somebody, and I was a bit having difficult sleeping about it, and you saw that in my numbers, so it's very, I think, important to understand your own body. Yeah.
It is, and like the best way to manipulate your focus of your active consciousness, which affects your subconscious, is redirecting the stimulus toward a specific sense, right? And try to calm it. Sit down at your desk, which you can do easily, given the type of work that you're involved in, and just take a time to just think: how is my sense of smell? Do I feel inflamed? Do I feel in pain? Am I hearing too much? Am I able to see? Is my focus, my vision point? And if any one of those things feels like it's dwindled, then take the course of action to try and heighten that sense by reducing the activity of the other senses.
Yeah.
And that helps. That's something so simple that helps. Other things you can do are you can listen to gamma wave based chants from monks and celestial nuns. You can get them loads of them on iTunes. So if you just go meditation music and you type in gamma wave meditation music, I have a whole stream of different recordings available. That also helps because vibration, it resonates through us, and it can also affect our minds too. So particularly when you want to bring yourself into more of a gamma state rather than an alpha state or extreme heightened delta state of thinking, that helps. Helps us to calm down.
So which state is the normal state to be in if you are working? Is that like gamma? What state is that? I want to be more in the alpha state, but
All right. So if we think about it, so gamma state or alpha state. All right. So what do you think for you, the terminology behind an alpha state of thinking? What do you think that means?
I think alpha state is more when it all comes together and it flows, and that your creativity has really room to excel.
That's more of a gamma state. And
Okay.
the reason I say that is if you think about when people proclaim to be alpha, right? I'm in a state of alpha. It's a state of dominance, right?
Okay.
Of
Okay. So maybe this is a bit of different. I'm mixing up different philosophies about this. Sorry.
no, not at all. So when we want to get into more of a balanced state where our creativity and our analytic side of our brains, so our right and our left side of our brains, orchestrate in harmony towards more productivity, that's more of a gamma state of thinking.
Okay.
And it's been studied in terms of heightening your gamma state response. The best people in the world that have the highest gamma state response are monks, Buddhist monks, and celestial nuns. And that's because they're able to calm down their thought process to becoming more present with their senses, within their senses itself. So we're pretty much an accumulation of senses that influence our perception toward our orchestration in life. So if we can balance out how our senses respond to our world and our environment, we can also change the way in which we perceive stress or calm and create a better orchestration toward being either creative or analytical without feeling like we require huge amounts of efforts to do so.
Yeah.
But that comes down to like multiple pathways. So we can obviously exercise this. So there's three primary links toward optimal health, in my opinion. The first link is oxygen exchange, allowing the body to have enough oxygen enrichment to create an optimal metabolism, detoxification, and so on and so forth, everything from brain function. Second is nutrient assimilation. How much nutrients can we absorb from our environment to aid our process, primarily for better oxygen exchange, but then secondary to that, detoxification, metabolism, cognitive response, so on and so forth. Without nutrients, we don't produce hormones effectively. Without nutrients, our brains age quicker. Without nutrients, we have no first line of defense against infections. And then lastly is a proprioceptive awareness or proprioceptive influence. So that's how we actually engage our orchestrated response with our environment. Now, the last one can be manipulated through skill development. So we can have practice where, like I mentioned before, trying to enhance our senses by discouraging overactivity of other senses, or by learning a new skill and practicing that new skill, from anything from learning a new language to new physical feat of wonder. So these are all skills. However, if we do not address the first two primary underlying components to health, those skills may be learned, but they would be short-lived as to the continuity toward better health in the future. So you're gonna, in other words, until we address how much oxygen you utilize effectively without producing too many oxidants that damage the system, and until we address how many nutrients you're able to assimilate for the process of ridding the body of excessive oxidants as well, all the skill development you will ever do will have to be continuous and tedious. So your progression toward that development will be far more tiresome. So in order for things to flow in the best gamma way possible, we need to address the primary two factors first: better oxygen exchange and better nutrient assimilation. And how do we do this? Oxygen exchange comes through reduced overactivity of the autonomic nervous system. So we reduce the amount of sympathetic dominance that our systems may be undertaking, allowing better utilization of cortisol, as well as better modulation of blood sugar via processes of insulin, as an example. So stress control for oxygen exchange. In order for stress control to be as optimal as possible, we require a very wide array of base nutrients and minerals and vitamins, phytonutrients, in order to combat as well as to aid effectively our immune support, our detoxification capacity behind our immune support, and our endocrine health. How do we go about doing this? Firstly, we set up good habits, which we've done with you. We set up that you're now eating twice as frequently as you ate before. You're hydrating probably 3 times more than you did in the past, and you're sleeping better, and you're training more regularly. So with the training, you're also increasing the activity of your mitochondria. So your mitochondrial density is improving, which is giving you more oxygen for your body and your brain. And because you're eating more nutritious-based food, you're providing the body with more nutrients. So now we can take a step further. Now we're going to put you onto a specific detoxification protocol for a part or region of your body that I'd like to engage with you over the next month, that will help to rid the proliferation or the the amount of unwanted bacterial cells that may have been overgrown in your different intestinal systems. And once you do that, then we're also going to sustain the shift of bad gut health bacteria through including certain minerals and trace elements that will allow you for better nutrient absorption.
Okay, so you can explain what I need to buy for that, and or you can send me and I can buy it with you.
I'm going to send you a complete breakdown of every product that you'll need, only after the completion of the symptoms evaluation form.
Okay, yeah.
So I think you've received that yet, but I don't think I've received it back from you just as yet. So
no, true.
That's all right. Once you have that symptoms evaluation form, was developed by Dr. Dickon Weatherby, and he's a fantastic natural medicine doctor. And I utilize that in conjunction with other evaluation forms from guys like from John Barati to Carolyn Whittier, amongst many others. But with that symptoms form, it just provides me with a far more precise insight as to what to target and how long to target it for. In order for you not to be taking 10 supplements, we give you maybe 3 to 5 precise elements to introduce into your protocol.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And is that also the thing that you made yourself? Because Gijs told me about that.
Oh, the detoxification product. No, not quite. The detoxification product that I came up with is more for liver detoxification and antioxidant support. It's a fantastic product. It works really well. However, I would first like to evaluate your symptoms form before advocating use of it.
No, I understand.
Yeah, there's no like, I'm not here just to sell products. You know, I've created a product. It works really well. But last thing I want to be is a charlatan and say to you that it's going to give you all the cures to every ailment possible, which it won't. But what we can do is we can evaluate where your biochemistry is at the moment and how your physiology is responding to that, and then make the best possible choices toward a more complete nutrient profile.
Yeah.
So later on, possibly we can reintroduce it once you've gone through the detoxification protocol. Because remember, when you're detoxing, now what we've done to this point has been a slight course of detoxification, but it hasn't been strenuous at all. It's been very mild, which is great. But now I believe, given you the fact that you've been involved with this project now for 3 months and established really healthy habits, that we can put it up a little bit of a greater notch, but with the greater increase in detoxification comes more strain to the body. And last thing you want to do is add an additional detoxification element that will ramp up more detoxification through a different pathway, causing more havoc and inflammation to the body itself. So right now we're going to try and sort out your gut. Once your gut is better sorted out, then we can start to address your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, pancreas, whatever it might be that needs further addressing.
Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, let's do that.
Fantastic.
I will fill in the form.
Please do. It takes me about 4 days just to evaluate because it's quite a lengthy form and there's a lot of cross-referencing that requires from it. But once you've filled in that form, then we'll have more precision as to what to advocate for you toward establishing better gut health. But in addition to that form, I'm also going to send you the greens, replacement formula, just things to keep on hand when things don't go according to plan. So, have a backup to a failed plan. It's just the best way to do it.
No. I think that's a step I can make. I have now a plan, but I don't have a default when it's not going as I planned.
That's what I'm here for. If you're ever unsure, reach out to me. Reach out to me if you need anything.
Okay, cool.
I'm happy to help. Always am. I want you to do well. I want you to feel good.
I feel strong, but I'm just started. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a great journey, right? I mean, every month's getting better.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is real confronting on all levels. I think it is. Um, it's also a lot of other things come up when you are going through training and being more in sync with your body. Yeah, I think it's important.
it gives you a sense of control in a manic world.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because the world is sometimes it's strange, strange world.
I think that our us being somewhat different in our um, dedication toward our better health might seem strange to the world, but like you said, that's only because the world is in a state of total chaos.
Yeah,
More disease now than ever, more poverty now than ever, and yeah, so we can become more self-aware as human beings in bettering our own health. I think then we're able to be in a better state to want to help others.
yeah.
I think the reason why
No,
people,
and I think there will be a lot of changes in the coming few years how people treat their own health.
and I think it's just going to cause a catalyst to how they affect how they treat others too. Because when you
Yeah,
feel better in yourself, you're more inclined to be nicer to other people. But when you feel inflamed and you feel lethargic or you feel just run down and depressed, really, um, it becomes far more difficult to be motivated to be nice to another human being because you're not even nice to yourself. So how much energy can you give to someone else if you're not nice to yourself? So I think
no,
be nice to yourself
true.
first, and then you'll have more capacity to be nice to others.
And what I think is strange, I'm on the road a lot of times, or I'm traveling, and that feels like an old-fashioned way of what they provide you with food. If you go to like a gas station, it's like sugar and fat. That is the only thing you can buy there. It's strange. I think that's a real strange. Also on airports, sometimes it's difficult to find the right stuff.
I think the reason why they do that is because it's like a drug. It pushes you up for a few moments and then it drops you flat down again so that you have to require more of the intake of it. Must remember, sources of food that you get from a gas station or for an airport, they have a lot of calories, but they have very few nutrients. So you're giving your body energy, but you're not giving it the raw material. In other words, you're filling your car with petrol, but you're not checking the water and the oil.
No, no,
Yeah,
but that's a strange thing because when I'm now traveling, I have really, and I also discussed this with my trainer. Um, I want to have like not the day afterward feeling really bad. So I try all kind of things to have with me so that I can travel in the right way. But it took me a while to understand how to do it because sometimes I have I have two meetings in New York, but I feel crap like for a week because I did all the traveling and all the eating in at the airports.
and this is why making provisions for when this is going to happen, because we like if we assess the situation of our schedules. Sometimes I feel like we just live by our schedules. We don't let our schedules live the way in which we want to guide our lives. So
No,
diaries are there for the process of becoming more organized to how you want to live. But I think we've forgotten that, and I think now we live according to our diaries. So it's the other way around. So if we take a step back and we schedule something in like a business trip, and we know that we need to leave on X date for Y length of time, that's time in which we have provision of time in order to make the right decisions, to create the right provisions of nutrients for better options to take place. So what I'm saying by that
yeah,
is just complicating it, but to put it in very simple terms, if you are going to go away for a business trip, and you know you're going to go away for a business trip, and it's not going to happen just the next day, but it's going to happen the following week, order the right type of products, order the right type of food in terms of snacks, you know, even if it is something like, for example, beef jerky or biltong, which isn't the healthiest for you because it has got a lot of sodium in it, it's far healthier for you than the Mars bar would be. So
Yeah.
try to choose the healthiest option given the scenario, right? Maybe not the perfect option, but there's always going to be a healthier option to choose from.
Oh, true.
And
But do you say don't eat also the food in the plane and stuff like that?
you know what? If there's nothing else to eat, in an instance where you haven't made provisions for a good meal to have with on board the airplane when you're flying internationally, and you are going through a process of cabin pressure change, which is going to affect your circulation, which is also going to affect your peripheral blood flow, and that will have a massive effect on your kidneys, which will also have a massive effect on your cognitive function and your stress production. So in that instance, do you really want to go without any nutrition whatsoever? You're on a flight for 8+ hours at a time. No, you don't. So then you eat the airplane food, even though it's not as healthy as it could be. In that instance, you decide to eat the airplane food because that's the healthiest option available to you. However, if you do know that you're going to go on an international journey in a week's time, make the provisions to take food with you on the airplane. You know, there's so many meal prep companies now. There's so many healthy fast food options out there, from things like sashimi to things like grilled meats and salads that you can get from loads of Turkish-based restaurants. Those aren't unhealthy, as long as you don't add all the salad dressings and the cream.
No, I always throw them away. Yeah.
Those aren't unhealthy. I mean, they're not organic sources of meat, so they're not like the prime, but they're not unhealthy, as opposed to contrast to a airplane meal.
Yeah. No. Okay. Cool.
Right. So plan to fail and plan and fail. Sorry. Plan. What's that saying? Plan to fail and make adjustments accordingly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But don't plan. Yeah. Don't fail to plan, because then you're just going to fail altogether.
No. True. Okay. I will email you.
You know, I remember the first
Yeah.
one another.
I'm smiling more. So thanks.
I'm glad. You look like a happy human being. It makes me really happy.
Yeah, I am. I also bought a new bed. That also helped.
That does help.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, Alex. And
yes,
I'll send you the outline of that protocol for you tomorrow. And I'll
be
waiting for the return of that symptoms evaluation form, please.
Yeah, right. I will send you. Okay, thanks. Have a great evening.